You clicked on this video because you want to lose weight by running, but I need to tell you something that's going to sting a little. If your plan is, I'll just start running and the weight will fall off, you're going to fail. Not because you're lazy, not because you lack willpower, because that plan is broken from the start. Here's what actually happens. You either push too hard, too fast, get injured, and never run again. Or, and this is the sneaky one, you go for a run, come home, and think, I earned this. A slice of cake, a bigger dinner. A well, I ran today excuse for everything that goes in your mouth. And 3 months later, the scale hasn't moved an inch. I know you want to close this tab right now, but give me 8 minutes, and I'll give you 4 methods that actually work. Methods that don't rely on willpower, don't wreck your joints, and don't leave you hungry and defeated by Thursday. Quick question before we start. How much weight are you actually trying to lose, and have you tried before? Drop it in the comments. I read every single one. Let's go. I know how that sounds coming from a running channel, but hear me out. Every time your foot hits the ground while running, your joints absorb roughly 3 times your body weight. Now imagine carrying extra weight on top of that, on joints and tendons that haven't been trained yet. That's not a fitness plan. That's an injury waiting to happen. And once you're injured, you're not burning calories. You're on the couch, healing, and slowly gaining the weight back. But there's a second problem, and it's the one nobody talks about. Running spikes your hunger hard. Your body burns through glycogen fast, and afterward it screams for it back, usually in the form of something sugary and calorie-dense. Combine that with the psychological trap of, I ran, so I earned this, what's called self-licensing, and you've got a cycle where you burn 300 calories running and eat back 600 celebrating it. Walking doesn't do that. Walking burns fat steadily, doesn't spike your appetite the same way, and puts almost no load on your joints. It's not the exciting answer. It's the one that actually works. Before you're allowed to run for weight loss, you need to walk your way there first. Here's the mistake almost everyone makes when they diet. They only do cardio, walking, some light jogging, maybe a class here and there. And the scale does move, but so does something you didn't want to lose. Muscle. When you're in a calorie deficit without resistance training, your body doesn't just burn fat. It burns muscle too, because muscle is metabolically expensive to maintain, and your body is looking for the cheapest way to survive on fewer calories. Lose muscle, and your metabolism slows down. You end up needing fewer and fewer calories just to maintain your weight, which is exactly the opposite of what you want. The fix is simple: 2 days a week of resistance training. Doesn't have to be a gym membership, and a barbell. Body weight squats, push-ups, lunges, resistance bands, anything that tells your muscles you're still needed. Don't go anywhere. 2 sessions a week is enough to protect your muscle mass while you're in a deficit. And there's a bonus here that matters to this channel specifically. Strong muscles are your future joint protection. When you eventually go back to running, that muscle you built is what stops your knees and ankles from absorbing all the impact alone. You're not just losing weight, you're building the shield that lets you run safely later. Let's talk about diet, because this is where most people destroy their own progress. You've seen it. Someone cuts their calories in half, cuts out carbs completely, and starts training on an empty stomach because they read somewhere that it burns more fat. Cortisol spikes. Your body reads this as a threat, not a diet. It holds onto fat harder, not less. And within a few weeks, the hunger becomes so intense that it ends in a binge, eating in one sitting what you saved all week. Extreme restriction doesn't work because your body isn't a calculator. It's a survival system, and it fights back against anything that feels like starvation. The fix isn't a harsher diet, it's a smarter one, what I call a subtle caloric deficit. Small enough that your body doesn't panic, consistent enough that it adds up over weeks and months. Instead of obsessing over exact numbers, focus on food quality, protein, and fibrous vegetables. These are nutrient-dense, they take longer to digest, and they keep you full for hours instead of minutes. This is your satiety shield. When you're actually full, not just fed, the sugar cravings that hit after a hard workout lose their power before they even start. You're not white-knuckling your way through the day. You're just not that hungry in the first place. By now you've built the habit of walking, you've protected your muscle with resistance training, and your diet is finally working with you instead of against you. This is where we level things up without going back to pounding the pavement. Incline walking, on a treadmill set to a steep grade, or outside on real hills, burns calories at nearly the rate of running without any of the impact. Your heart rate climbs, your legs work harder than flat walking, but your joints never take that 3 times body weight hit running gives you. Now, I'm not going to hand you a rigid daily schedule because your life isn't mine, and a plan that ignores that just becomes one more thing you quit in week 2. Instead, here's the simplest possible starting frame. Walking. 3 days a week is genuinely ideal to start. And no, you don't need 1 hour, 2 hours, just 20 minutes is enough. The only rule is this. Every week, increase your time by about 10%. 20 minutes becomes 22, then 24, and so on. Small, boring, and it works. Resistance training. You don't need a dumbbell in your hand on day 1. Body weight is enough. Squats, push-ups, lunges, whatever you can do with what your body already has. 2 days a week. Non-negotiable. No excuses on this one. Diet. Forget diet programs for now. Forget counting anything. In the beginning, just cut out sugar, fried and fatty foods, and junk food. That's it. That one change alone will move the scale more than any app or meal plan will in month 1. Incline walking. Once the first 3 feel automatic, usually 2 to 3 weeks in, start swapping in incline sessions to level things up. Give this frame 4 weeks before you judge it. Simple isn't the same as ineffective. It's usually the opposite. So here's how this actually fits together. Walk instead of run, and protect your body from the injury and hunger trap that running sets for beginners. Lift twice a week, so the weight you lose is fat, not the muscle your body needs. Eat in a smart, sustainable deficit built around protein and fiber, so cravings never get the chance to win. And once that foundation is solid, add incline walking to burn more without the impact. And when that day comes, there's one more thing you'll need to get right, or you'll end up right back where you started, hurt, frustrated, and quitting again. That's your running form. I made an entire video breaking down exactly how to move so running doesn't wreck your knees. That's the video you need to watch right now, and it's right there on your screen.